Did you know that a curling tournament is called a Bonspiel? Today, I'm going to tell you a little about curling. I'm going to tell you what it is. I'm going to give you the history of curling, and I'm going to tell you what curling is today. To start off my speech, I'm going to give you an excerpt. I'm going to give you a quote from Debbie McCormick, who was a silver medalist in the 2006 Winter Olympics. And she said, "Curling is a very physically and mentally challenging sport. It requires total team effort to be successful. I wish that everyone could have a chance to play the sport. I think they would be surprised to find out how challenging and fun it really is." Before you start curling, you need the proper equipment. First and foremost, you need the curling stone, and it is exactly 42 pounds and made out of granite. The sheet of ice that you play on is 146 feet long, and it has a target, or in curling terms, a house in each end. The house has three rings, which in the very center is a button. And the closer you get your curling stone to the button, the more chances you have of scoring that point. One of the other more important equipment pieces in curling is the broom, and each of the four teammates has their own broom. In curling, you have 8 ends in each match, and an end is kind of like a baseball inning where each team has their chance to be on the offense or to be curling at that time. There are 8 stones per end, and so that means that there are 2 stones per teammate. So there's a total of 64 throws per team per match. To curl the stone, you push off the hack, and the hack is a rubber mount that's mounted into the ice that the curler pushes off of in their crouch position. They have to let go of the stone before they reach the hog line, and the other 3 teammates are sweeping in front of the stone before you reach the hog line. The reason that they sweep is to change the velocity and direction of the stone once it's let go. The main differences between rules in league play, which is what me and you would do in everyday curling, and championship play, which is like the Olympics or the more high-level skill of play for curling. One of the main differences between the rules in each is that in league play, you get to practice on the ice before a match. And this is a great opportunity to get a feel for the ice and to see how the stones are curling that day. And it's a major advantage in league play compared to championship play. A fun fact for you is that the largest curling club in the United States is in St. Paul, Minnesota, and it has over 700 members. So now that I've given you the basic idea of curling and how to play, I'm going to share with you some of the history of this great winter sport. Most people believe that curling was invented in Scotland around the 16th century, and farmers invented it during the winter time, and they would get smoothed over river stones and they would slide them across frozen marshes. And this was more of a pastime for them, and they just kind of invented it out of something to do during the winter times. Curling didn't actually make its way over to North America until around 1759 when it was introduced in Canada. And it didn't actually make its way to the United States until 1832. It quickly became popular in major northern cities like New York, Milwaukee, and Detroit. The first Winter Olympic Games were held in Chamonix, France in 1924, and curling was one of the sports featured there. Curling did not make its way back into the Olympics until 1998 in Nagano, Japan. The United States captured its first medal in 2006 in Torino, Italy, and it was the women's silver medal. There haven't been a lot of changes since the old Scottish farmers were curling the river stones over the ice, except for technology. Technology has brought about the advantages of being able to craft each granite stone exactly the same. They're the exact same weight. They all come from the same cut of granite in Scotland and Wales. And another example of technology is the use of indoor ice. And that allows people to play on ice year-long. It gives an advantage that people can practice anytime they want, and that it's more the same for every other player. An expert from the Spirit of Curling explains that curlers play to win, but never to humble their opponents. A true curler would prefer to lose rather than win unfairly. While the main object of the game is to determine the relative skill of the players, the spirit of the game demands good sportsmanship, kindly feeling, and honorable conduct. Today, over 1.5 million people enjoy curling in over 33 different countries. A lot of people like to refer to it as the roaring game because of the sound that the stone makes as it curls across the ice. This year, in February, the Sochi Winter Olympics were held, and in the curling event, there were over 16 different countries represented. Canada brought home the gold in both men's and women, and Great Britain and Sweden captured the silver and bronze in men and women. So, curling tournaments are held all over the United States and the world. Like I told you before, a curling tournament is called a bonspiel, and the bonspiel is an old Scottish term for the cornerstone game, which is, you kind of get the point of the cornerstone or the big stone being used as a game. Curling is almost more of an international sport just due to the fact that it was invented in Scotland and it spread more quickly in the European countries. And an example of that is the West Linton Curling Club, which is in a small village in Scotland. And they have about 40 members, and one of the reasons it's so popular over there is the fact that they have really cold and dark winters, and so curling gives them a chance to have an extracurricular activity in the dark and after work. So today I told you a little bit about curling. I gave the history of curling, and I told you what curling is today. So in conclusion, I told you about curling and kind of giving you an idea of what it is. And so you should go find a local curling club and try out this fun and exciting winter sport for yourself. Thank you.